Welcome back to the Pooh and the Chief show, because that's all we got. No B-Love, no TSG. What are we doing? Freshly back from Atlanta, freshly off of 2 Buccaneer victories, one against the Falcons and one against the Bills. We are going to break all that down for you, plus the worst Christmas songs you've ever heard. Oh. All that and so much more. This is the main event. So this is the time of year for vacations and for being busy at night. And I guess these other 2 guys are just too busy to do the show tonight. What do you think?
Well, it's one thing to be too busy. It's another thing to be in the right screen. Last week, complaining about, me not being here. And then where is B-Love at on this guy, man? Sitting there complaining about it and now nowhere to be found.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, before we get started too much, special shout out to Tony, Eileen, Jack, Parker, and your niece, Kelsey, for hosting us this past weekend in Atlanta for the Atlanta game. Amazing time we had up there with them. And of course, the Buccaneers won. So okay. If you care to see a little more in depth about that, we have a vlog that has posted about that trip starring the 4 of us.
The Buccaneers just didn't win that game. We owned that stadium. We owned the parking lot, the pregame. There were more, but as a matter of fact, I think there were only Buccaneer fans left in there by when the final gun sounded in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of Buccaneer fans, a lot of them, tons of Tom Brady jerseys, Gronkowski jerseys, saw Devin White jerseys. You saw a couple of Mike All-Star jerseys too. I think that was an original All-Star jersey I saw. That was.
And a lot of the people that we were talking with were asking us, have you been Bucs fans for a long time, or are you just Brady fans? And they were almost like, congratulating us for being Bucs fans for forever, since '76, and not just bandwagon Brady fan jumpers. So I thought that was pretty cool. But that was last week. This week, the Buccaneers destroyed the Bills in one half. Barely beat them in the second half.
Well, I didn't beat them they lost to them in the second half. Just beat them in overtime.
Yes, true. So what do you think, man? What's your breakdown? Give me the defensive perspective of the Bills game breakdown.
So, okay, our defense in the first half played the same as the second half, which is not what the Bills did. Okay, so we had a lot of guys in the box up front. We were blitzing heavy, as Todd Bowles likes to do. We were having a ton of success with that in the first half. Second half, we stayed with that same game. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I kind of get that, okay? Mm-hmm. But the problem was with the second half, the Bills adjusted to it. The Bills didn't only ran the ball, but with a running back, I think one time in the entire first half. Josh Allen, okay.
He was killing it.
He was frustrating to watch because, we didn't have any containment. I saw the right side of our defensive line collapsing in like they were, just pinned back for a we got sound effects now?
Sorry, it's my phone. ESPN alert for my phone.
No. Are they watching the main event too?
Probably.
The right side of that defensive line was giving up containment. Josh Allen was taking advantage of it. And he was turning what should have been, probably like a no-yard scamper into a 15-yarder. It was really hard to watch. What was really frustrating for me is to see Todd Bowles not change what he was doing. That really worries me because, the word on the street, the rumor on the street is that, Todd Bowles is the heir apparent to Bruce Arians. And, this is kind of what got him in trouble, when he was with the Jets. He started out with a strong season, but football seasons have to evolve. You have to get better as in October, November, December. You have to continuously, almost reimagine yourself. And not only has he not really done it this season, but he certainly didn't do it in that game. And he had a lot of his defensive weapons available to him yesterday. Richard Sherman back in, playing a lot of safety, which was kind of odd to see.
Yeah.
Really more cornerback than safety. But I mean, I think the thought behind that is that, the guy's got wheels. He understands football knowledge. And, the safety is a position where, he can be a little more of a freelance style player.
It is. And it's a natural progression for a corner as they age to go play safety. Rondé Barber did it most recently for the Buccaneers. So, and they spoke about it earlier in the week that he was going to be transitioning to safety.
Right. Dean back, had some impact. By the way, kind of jumping all over the defense here a little bit here, not in any particular order. How many sacks do you think the defense had?
Oh my. I honestly, seemed to be several in the first half, probably 4 or 5. It seemed like.
That's what it seemed like. We were really in there, putting them down and getting 2.
Okay.
There were only 2 sacks the entire game. And I found this super frustrating. And I noticed it last week in the Falcons game. And again, we kind of stayed with it, especially in the second half where the big guys were taking breaks. And I get that, I mean, they need to take a break, but it was very rare for us to see Sue and Vay on the defensive line together. Okay, those 2 guys are definitely better than their backups. We're talking about McClendon and not just Nunez Roaches. And actually, at the beginning of the third quarter, it was almost second string defensive line across the line.
Right.
And I really feel that gave the Bills, that momentum. They came in and just drove it. And by the time, the big guys got back in there, it was too little too late. They already, you know how it is. You get in there and as your football timing gets better, the quarterback's vision, starts seeing the field a little bit better, the game slows down. Before he was running for his life.
Well, it seemed to me like they were just putting those guys in there on obvious rundowns. And, as the lead widened for the Buccaneers, there was less of a chance the Bills would be running the ball, more of a chance to be passing. So they were looking for the extra depth in the, to play off of a running back catching a screen pass or something. Vita Vea, as fast as, he's big and as fast as he is, he's still not the fastest lineman we have out there. Tryon Sharinka is probably a little quicker than him, So I see some reasoning for giving those guys a rest, not necessarily resting them, but putting the personnel in position for the play you think is going to be called.
And I'd be willing to bet that if Todd Bowles was to call in right now, he would say it's a good thing those guys were rested because we needed them in overtime. And I'm saying we never should have gotten that situation.
No.
We had a 21-point lead, and we were talking about the second half was going to be boring.
Yeah.
We thought this was, we were locked at halftime. That was a mistake. But hey, here's another telling. This is another telling stat. I know TSG's not here to give it to us. Number 1 tackler, Levante David. So you would expect Levante David to be number 1 tackler. Number 3 tackler, Devin White. Okay, Levante David 8-1, 1 assist. Devin White 7 with 3 assists. Here's where the danger starts coming. This is red alert time. Safety Winfield is the number 2 tackler of the night at 8-1, and then we get Sean Murphy Bunting, cornerback, is the number 4 tackler on the day, 7 tackles, 1 assist. There were games when Deion Sanders didn't tackle anybody as a cornerback.
That's every game, really.
Well, they just didn't throw at him, but I mean,
right.
he also, as fast as he was, he really wasn't. He might have had a couple of assists here and there, but he wasn't a tackler. Sean Murphy Bunting's doing double duty. I mean, not only is he playing cornerback, but he's also playing, safety, as far as I can tell, maybe even linebacker. I mean, we should not have our secondary and our last line of defense safeties, racking up as the number 2 and number 4 tackler on the day. We start looking down at this defensive line, and when you look at the run stats that these guys put up against, by the way, almost 200 yards in rushing against us. I think it was 170. I'm going to say 173. Don't quote me on that, but it was a lot of yards rushing against the number 1 rush defense in the NFL. So, Vea, 1 tackle. Barrett, 2 tackles, JPP 3. And these are not good numbers for guys where the guy running the football is going right past you. So very frustrating to watch that. And I'm thinking about people like Mahomes and Murray. These are quarterbacks that have wheels on them, and they just showed that the Buffalo Bills, not a dynamic offense, okay? No one's really talking about the amount of points per game they're putting up on the board. Just showed how to put 24 on the Bucs in one quarter or in one half. Maybe 21 and a half.
Yeah. So, I mean, agreed. A lot of valid points there. And I think, it's a little misleading, the stats you were just reading there, especially on the tackles, given the way those plays were designed. A lot of those runs by Josh Allen were designed runs after a fake pass, like almost like a play action run, but with him. Yeah. Normally a play action run, it goes to the running back, not the quarterback. So Bruce Arians said in his press conference today, that it reminded him of a young Cam Newton and what he used to do to the Buccaneers. He kind of get back there, look over the field. If the first option wasn't there, boom, run. And, he's an effective runner until his ankle became a little gimpy. He ended up in a walking boot, apparently, leaving the field yesterday. Is what I heard.
Well, we did get that twisted ankle on the one tackle on the sideline.
Yeah.
We saw him taping it up. It was probably in the third quarter.
Yep. If it wasn't the third, it was the fourth.
It was the fourth quarter. Okay.
So, I mean, if it wasn't the third, it was the fourth.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Late in the game for sure. So what else you got on defense? Anything?
Well, tell me, what did you see on offense?
Offense, you were complaining about Todd Bowles' play calling. I'm going to complain about Byron Leftwich's play calling, especially in the second half. First half looked all right. My biggest complaint in the first half was with Tom Brady's accuracy. He still does not look sharp all the time like he normally does, or not normally, but at least he did last year. Seeing a lot of throws to the receivers that aren't in stride, where they, just outside their reach, at their knees, over their head. And you and I discussed yesterday, there was a pass to Mike Evans, Mike Evans is probably the only professional NFL player who could have caught that ball. It was so high. Was it by design or was it by accident? Did he let it go or was it supposed to be there? No telling with his inaccuracies he has been. So with that, those inaccuracies are a little bit troublesome. I love what Leonard Fournette did and his running efficiency. He's just running really, really well with the or from the backfield or as a receiver. But as far as the Leftwich complaints in the second half, that was the time to control the ball. The Buccaneers needed to have sustained drives and just to pound the ball. They brought in Ronald Jones, which I'm not completely disappointed about. He's a little bit of a different character than Fournette. Gives you a different look. But that is Fournette territory, man. You need to pound the ball up the middle, first down after first down after first down. Do not let the Bills get the ball back in order to make a comeback. And that's not what happened. They went on first down throws, 1st and 10, throwing long, incomplete, second down, 2-yard run, third down, another long throw, and now you're punting. And we had a bad punt, too, that didn't shape out so well. So that's my biggest complaint is with Leftwich is play calling, except for the very last play of the game to Brashard Perryman. That play was a phenomenally drawn-up play and executed play. The right winger, I think it was just Chris Godwin, he comes across the field from right to left. You've got triple left. You got Evans, Johnson, and Perryman all on the left. Perryman slants to the right. So now that the right side of the field is all cleared out, all the safeties, everybody's going left because that's where all the receivers are. Now you've got Perryman coming across the right, and the only player that left to guard him is a linebacker. Take that opportunity every single day of the week. Brady hits him in stride, a great pass by Brady, and Perryman is gone for the touchdown. Amazing play. That's the kind of stuff you expect to see in that situation, but that's not the stuff we want to see when we're up by 21, 24-point leads, and you're trying to bury the clock and just move on to the next game. And so that was my biggest complaint with the offense, at least.
I mean, don't get me wrong, okay? I'm glad that we won that game, but it didn't feel like a win, I mean, I was just like, it's like, doggone it, man. I mean, we survived. That really is what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
So you said something about the play calling, and I agree with you. Ball control. You need to pound the ball, but when they're putting 10 guys in the box, I mean, no one runs against 10. I don't care who you are. No running back in the NFL. It doesn't how good your offensive line is. Nobody runs against 10 consistently, successfully. Just doesn't work that way. But they didn't check out of those plays.
Right.
That's my frustration. They see it and they're like, well, we're going to do it anyway. And next thing you know, we're punting.
Yeah, those are the good opportunities for a play action pass. A short slant to Gronkowski, to O.J. Howard, to Cameron Brate, Chris Godwin coming across the middle. Any of these elite receivers that are on this squad, if you've got 10 in the box, like you said, and there were plenty of times when it happened, when it looked like a design run and you had to check out of that, yes, either go for a slant or a West Coast pass, like a receiver screen or running back screen, or a short pass to a receiver. I mean, this shouldn't be that hard. I mean, I know Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich and Bruce Arians are going to know more about football than you and I will ever forget. I get that. So people talking, trash about us right now as you're sitting there, keyboard warriors. Yeah, I get it. But from a fan's perspective, that's what it looks like. It looks like there's some opportunities missed. Let's put it that way.
By the way, O.J. Howard, again, no targets, no receptions. Man, I feel like we just missed an opportunity with that cat. His trade value, I think, is worth something.
Well, there is clearly a doghouse with Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, and if you get in it, boy, it is tough to get out. We've seen Ronald Jones in it. We've seen Scotty Miller in it now. Now we're seeing O.J. Howard. Well, at least we've seen O.J. Howard for a while. I said a few weeks ago, we've clearly heard Brady say, if you can't work for the ball, you're not going to ever see one from me. So he said that in training camp. He said it in practices. I firmly believe he has that mentality of you're not going to put the effort in. You're not going to get any gravy from me.
Hey, two guys that were fun to watch yesterday. Obviously, you already said Leonard Fournette. He doesn't want to get tackled. It's not contact that brings him down. You're going to force him down. And Gronk, I mean, that guy, he drug a guy across the first down mark. I mean, that was he catches the ball, like 3 yards short, and he was like, that didn't bring me to the ground. And he goes, I don't think you can do it. And he fought, he got the first down. And it wasn't just on that play. That's the kind of effort he puts in on every play. And that is fun football to watch right there.
Yeah, agreed. I love watching both those guys. And I'm happy to say I've had Leonard Fournette on my fantasy team for all season. And he is definitely helping out right now. Play off, Lenny. Let's go. Hey, what about the rest of the NFL? What did you see in the rest of the games yesterday? We saw some interesting activities.
Wow, some really bad football early on.
Yeah.
I mean, just the first two games. Well, we're going to get to one. We don't want to talk too much about the Raiders.
We can fire it up.
You want to do Can't Fix Stupid right now?
Yeah, here it is.
There it is.
This week's You Can't Fix Stupid brought to you by the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes. Hey, don't go out on the away team's field. When you're the away team, don't go on the home team's field and stomp on their emblem if you can't back it up. And they didn't back it up.
Oh man, the first play, I think they fumbled and the Chiefs scooped and scored.
Yeah, that didn't take long. And they never looked back. It was 48-9.
I can't think of a single time in college football, NFL history, maybe in the Canadian League it happened somewhere, where players or a band or someone has stomped on a logo or tried to embarrass the other team somehow by some sort of antics where it's worked out. We've seen the University of Miami do it. We've seen Terrell Owens and the Cowboys or the 49ers do it against the Cowboys.
I got one.
You got one?
Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp used to go, the team would be stretching.
Yep.
The opposing team would be stretching, and Warren Sapp would go kind of
jogging through their line. I remember that.
Yeah. And, just taunting him a little bit. But Warren Sapp
he did that every game.
Almost every time.
Right. He did that every game. So I'll allow that one. But as far as the blatant The University of Miami going out and stomping on Chief Osceola's spear and all that stuff.
Right.
You had T.O. when he was playing with the 49ers go out and stand in the middle of the Cowboy star. Didn't turn out well for him in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Just these kind of antics. They're childish and stupid. And you're, especially in the NFL, you're a professional. And I know there's bad blood between the Chiefs and the Raiders. Has been, forever.
Well, I think what the Raiders were doing, it was kind of a payback for what the Chiefs did earlier in the year. The Chiefs stomped on the Raiders logo and midfield at the beginning of the game. And that I can't remember the results of that game, but I think that the Chiefs may have lost that game.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders beat them, at home.
It's just silly because here's the reality. So none of those guys really care about either of those two franchises, other than the fact that one of them is your employer, right? So once you retire or you're traded or you sign a free agency deal, you don't care two flips about that team you used to play for. They're providing you a paycheck right now. That's it, right? Yeah. There's very few people out there that were born in the city or have a serious affiliation with a city they're playing for, and then maintain that loyalty to a fandemonium type of level.
Well, look, it happens that I was talking trash. I was texting trash, to a friend of mine who's a Bills fan. I started off at like around halftime. I'm like, not today. And sometime in the fourth quarter, I said, I better get ahead of this, or I'm going to feel it. And maybe today. I was finally able to settle it with a nope, not today. I got lucky on that one. Where I started talking trash early. I should know better.
Yeah, and that's fan stuff. Like, we're allowed to do that. We're not getting paid to be fans yet.
Right.
So anyway, I just found that silly, and that definitely worthy of this week's You Can't Fix Stupid. But on the exact polar opposite of that, we don't have to go far then to the rest of the AFC East or West to see the Denver Broncos, who sadly lost Demaryius Thomas earlier this week, who was found dead in his apartment. I believe it was a seizure or something. They paid respect with the very first play of the game of doing like a missing man formation. They lined up with 10 players, took a delay of game penalty, and we're getting. I think they played the Cowboys. Was it Cowboys?
No, Cowboys played the Washington football team.
Yeah, don't remember who it was. I thought it was a silver team. Anyway, so just an awesome showing of appreciation for a fallen comrade. I know Demaryius Thomas hasn't played there in several years. I think he went on to play with the Jets before he retired. But I'm sure there's still some folks there that work within the Broncos administration or the Broncos, organization that remember him. Just a cool thing to do. Exact opposite of what the Chiefs and Raiders are doing. Did you figure out who it was they're playing?
No, I'm looking at the wrong week.
Oh,
so I'm like, I can't be right.
Listen,
it was the Lions. They played the Lions.
Okay, there you go. So I'm seeing in my head a silver team, and it was the Lions.
Yeah, it was the Lions. It was the Lions
from the video. What about North in Florida? What happened in Northeast Florida, better known as Jacksonville, the Jaguars?
Listen, okay. We should camp out here for just a minute here. The Jaguars are they're a bad football team, okay? Yes. And so I've had this kind of thought process for a while in college football. In college football, it doesn't really matter who the coach is, because it does matter at some level, but for most part, the talent is so much better at one school than another. They can have a bad coach. They can come with a simple game plan. Their guys are just bigger than your guys. Their guys are just faster than the other guys. They're going to win every week. They can make a million mistakes and they're still going to win. So I say in college, it's about the players. At the NFL, though, everyone's got big guys. Everyone's got fast guys. Everyone's got guys that can throw, guys that can catch, and stuff like that. In the NFL, it's about the coach. The coach is as important as your best player on your team, okay? And maybe even a little bit more. So when the Jaguars are a bad football team, it's not the players. It's not the player. It's the coach. It's the coach. And I was trying to think of, why do the Jaguars not fire Urban Meyer? I had a couple of thoughts on it, but do you have any thoughts
Other than the fact that he's only 11 games in, 12 games in.
That is one.
To me, that's the number one reason. And you're probably committed for, I don't know what his contract is, probably 5 years. So
something
like
speculation on the contract. His contract was never made public, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but the word on the street is that, and by street I mean interweb here. It's it's that they're into him for $10 million a year for probably 6 years. But I mean, listen, Khan, the guy that owns,
he's got money coming out of his whiskers.
He's $9 billion. He doesn't care about. I mean, even $60 million for him,
sure,
doesn't matter.
Yeah. So the only other reason I would think you wouldn't want to cut loose just yet is it's Trevor Lawrence's first year. Mm-hmm. You start that turnstile of new coach, new offense coordinator, new coach, new offense coordinator. You're going to ruin the young man's career. So we've seen that by plenty of quarterbacks and coaching. Relationships
real close to home.
Yeah,
seen it real close to home.
Yeah, we've seen a lot. I mean, between Vinny Testaverde and Trent Dilfer and Sean King and. The list goes on.
Jameis Winston didn't have the same as offensive coordinator for 3 years in a row.
Yeah,
so it's somebody new,
right? And then he did, and still threw 30 picks, and then we knew what he was. So those are probably the only two reasons. I do. I've been sitting here harping on this show about the state of football in Florida as far as colleges go, and this revolving turnstile of coaches that we have here between Miami and Florida State, there's no consistency. So you're not getting to get a dynasty of a program built up at all because of that. I think, I guess there could be other reasons, but that's my reasoning for it. So I'm thinking maybe the Jaguars are probably looking at that. And I'm sure they've gone through some coaches here in the past 10 years too. So they know.
Yeah. Since Tom Coughlin, it's just been a turnaround up in Jacksonville. I think Khan may actually see this as there's no such thing as bad publicity, even though it's all bad publicity. I mean, it is bad. He's from what I understand, never met the guy, believe it or not, but they tell me that he is very patient. And, it's like, okay, show me a better coaching resume than Urban Meyer's. That's going to be difficult.
College coaching.
College coaching. Yes, absolutely. NFL coaching is obviously different, but, almost every college coach that's come to the NFL has had the learning curve has always been more difficult than they thought it was going to be.
Yes.
So, we'll see. I kind of lean towards they probably won't fire him this year, but we'll see.
No, I'm with you. The antics, as long as his antics stop, right? So he had the earlier transgression of not coming back with the team and staying at your own club, and whatever happened with that woman and the pictures that were taken. That's a bit of a concern. Apparently now he's having issues to players, like specific, like man-to-man relationship problems with his players. That's a problem. So, but I'm with, if that's Mr. Khan's mentality, I'm kind of on his side. I'm a patient person as well. I think that there's a lot of room for improvement for Mr. Meyer right now. And, again, I don't want to see that just constantly looking for the next coach, because these players are only in their talent window for so long. At some point you've got to stop and find some success.
So, we've seen coaches have problems with players before. Mm-hmm. And if the ownership doesn't get behind the coach, he will lose a locker room. Now we saw it. We saw it with the Raiders and John Gruden with Mac. And he lets the guy go. One of the best defensive ends in the entire NFL just says, "Adios, my man. I don't need you." And he kind of made an example out of him. And it did take. John Gruden was on his way to having a really good team this year. Emails got him, but
emails did get him.
Emails got him. So I mean, it takes a while to build an NFL team. So
it does.
Urban Meyer also fired his defensive coordinator 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So those are the kinds of things that when there's smoke, there's fire. But I still think you gotta let the man run the team. Let him. Maybe he doesn't have the right players. Again, he's only had one draft. He's only had one free agent class. Right. I don't know. I don't like the guy at all. Like, I didn't like him at Florida. I didn't like him at Ohio State. I didn't like him anywhere he's been. I think he's a terrible person. He may be a really good college football coach. Whether or not he's a good professional coach, that remains to be seen. But I do think he deserves some time. I don't think it's fair to bring somebody in and run him out of town.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville wasn't a good team when he got there.
Correct.
So it's not as though that he took over the Buccaneers, which were
correct,
ready to go.
Exactly.
So,
you don't get the number one overall pick by being a good team.
Right. Exactly. So
they may have it again this year.
Yeah, he's working. He's working hard at it. So
well, let's wrap up the NFL with going over our picks.
Let's do it
from last week. So last week, our first game we picked was the Saints versus the Jets.
Yes, I went strong on the Jets.
You and I both. I thought the Jets. I thought the Saints were in disarray, and the Jets were coming up, but no. B-Love's the only one that got that correct. He took the Saints.
Wow.
Then we picked the Falcons and the Panthers, an NFC South matchup. You went with the Panthers. Me and B-Love went with the Falcons. The Falcons ended up winning that game, and the Buccaneers get to see the Saints next week. That's right. I almost said the Falcons. They swept the Falcons already. And our final game was the team we were just talking about, the Jaguars versus the Titans. None of us chose that game correctly. We all believed in Urban Meyer. 0-3 for all of us. So that leaves B-Love in first place at 26-20. You're in second at 25-21. I'm in third, 24-21, and TSG. Well, he's way back there in the dust.
Next week I gotta. They started Taysom Hill at quarterback again for the Saints. Talk about the Saints now.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the next week now. So Taysom Hill, only he went for 175 yards, 15 for 21. Kamara did have 120 yards rushing.
Wow.
Taysom Hill had 73 yards rushing. So I mean, we saw a lot of that just yesterday.
And you're gonna see a lot of this week.
So I mean, we're gonna have to do something different because we're gonna see a lot of the same stuff I think that we saw in the second half. For 60 minutes come next week.
And I don't think Bruce Arians has beaten the Saints in about 3 years. Tom Brady has not beat them since he's been here in the regular season. They did win the.
Yeah,
they did win the playoff game.
When it counted the most, absolutely.
They both won the playoff game last year, but these regular season games have been a bit of a bugaboo for both BA and Tom.
Right.
So let's see what happens. Historically, the Buccaneers, they split with all these teams: the Falcons, the Saints, and the Panthers. It's been a little lopsided past few years because the talent. I don't think the talent is there for any of these teams except for the Bucs. But anyway, what do we got for this coming up? Yeah, let's do some picks.
Well, I tell you what. Why don't I pick for B-Love and you pick for TSG?
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay. So first game that we have to pick for this week: Raiders versus the Browns, and this is in Cleveland. So I'll go first.
Yeah. So I'm writing down.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take the Browns, and for B-Love, I'm gonna give him the Jags.
All right. Man, I like the Browns. They have not been playing well. It's going to be cold in Cleveland. I'm going to go with the Browns as well. I feel like the Raiders are probably the better team at this point. Even though they got embarrassed.
They had a bad game.
They got embarrassed. All right. And TSG is going to go with the Jets.
He's going to go with the Jets.
He's got the Jets in that game.
All right. Nice. Okay. So next game we have Patriots versus the Colts.
Ooh.
Yeah. By the way, I think these are Saturday games.
I was going to say, are any of these Saturday games?
I think these are all Saturday games. I love Saturday football, NFL.
I do too.
So,
I do too. Man, the Patriots and Colts. Wow. So the Patriots are riding hot, man. They've got a 5-game winning streak, I think, coming off of a 3-pass performance by Mac Jones.
Wow.
I am loving what Mac Jones is doing. His rookie card values are just skyrocketing, which I'm making a killing on that. And the Colts, they're a good team too. I'm gonna go with the Pats on the road. What do you got?
You're gonna go with the Pats, and who are you gonna give?
TSG's gonna go with the Lions.
He's going to go with the Lions. He's breaking it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, this is an away game for the Patriots. It is in a dome, so good weather, I would assume. But the Colts just beat the Texans 31-0. I think that this is a good team, and I'm going to go with the Colts on this one.
I mean, it's not a bad pick. The Colts are a good team. This should be a good game, right? So these are two of the younger, lesser-known teams. Like, there's not a whole lot of people. The casual fan is not going to be able to name a lot of players on either of these teams. But there are some really good players, right? But there's some really good players on both these teams between, Michael Pittman Jr. and Jonathan Taylor, and I like both these teams. That's good. Okay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and give B-Love the Jags again.
All right, he's sticking with the Jags.
He's gonna go 2 for the Jags. He feels strong.
He's committed.
Strong about that one.
All right, what's our third game?
Our third game, it's the Bees, the Bengals and Broncos.
Ooh, that's in Denver.
That's in Denver. Yes. Man,
that's another good game too. Up and coming teams ish. Broncos probably not as up and coming. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I really like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That connection those guys are having. They've been having a good season.
Dude, Joe Burrow looked fantastic yesterday. I mean, they did lose to the Chargers, but I mean, they were down early and really did claw back. I'm gonna go with the home team. I'm gonna go Broncos on this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Broncos.
TSG. He just chimed in and mentioned he wanted to go with the. No, I can't do that, John. Go with the Jets again.
You're going to put him down for the Jets.
He's going with the Jets again.
And B-Love feels strongly for the Jags yet again.
He just loves Shad Khan, man.
Dude, that is a terrible.
He loves Trevor Lawrence's hair. That's why he likes so much.
Yeah, that's because he's jealous of it, man.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for the NFL for the show.
Yeah,
putting a ban on NFL talk. We got nothing for baseball. Baseball is locked out. Nothing going on. No conversations as far as we know. No signings. Nothing. So this goes on a few more weeks. Spring training is going to be in jeopardy. Hockey, the Lightning just come off a 5-game road trip. They won 4 of those 5 games. Probably should have won that 5th game had they started Vasilevsky in goal, but I think they're just a little tuckered out, wanted to get home. They start up again, I think, tomorrow night. So not a whole lot happened there as well. What do you say we talk about the best and worst Christmas songs?
Let's do it.
Okay.
What do you
change hats here?
You're gonna put a hat on. Oh,
there we go. A little frosty. If you want to see the best Christmas song ever, songs, just go back to the Christmas caroling episode of the Man Event.
You can possibly see the best and the worst in that one
episode. All wrapped up into one. So I'm a huge fan of Christmas music. I love Christmas music. It's when I'm a traditionalist. I wait until the Friday after Thanksgiving, before I start firing up Christmas music. That's our day to decorate the tree. That's when I play. I have a very specific album I like to play first as I'm decorating and putting things up. But I've also compiled a list of the top 5 worst Christmas songs. And as with all of my top lists, this is indisputed. This has been irrefutably checked and referenced by MIT, Stanford, Oxford in England. This has been world, double blind studied, all of that. There's no arguing the top 5. But it goes a little like this. So you actually get a bonus. You get a number 6. Okay, so the first one is The Same Old Lang Syne by Dan Fogelberg.
Is that a Christmas song?
No,
it's a New Year's Eve song.
Thank you very much. But for some reason, these stations that start playing Christmas music in October like to play this one.
Well, you know why? Because they're limited. There's only so many Christmas songs, so they got to try to, that's all they're going to play. They say we're all Christmas, 24 hours a day. I mean, you can't hear Feliz Navidad, every hour, dude. If that's not number one, I don't know what is.
No, I got better. So I stayed away. So bringing a Feliz Navidad, I stayed away from the I don't want to say non-traditional, but the things like I want a hippopotamus for Christmas, and I got roller skates, Dominic the Donkey, anything by Weird Al, all the off-key, the non-mainstream.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
I like that one. It's off, but it's it's a little fun. It's keeps the things lively. But these are the ones that when you're hearing these songs, you reach for the dial and go, "Oh my God, no, I can't anymore. I can't anymore." Right? So that was number 6. That was a little bonus. That's what you're in for. Same old things. Dan Fogelberg's actually a brilliant artist. I love his voice. I love the song, but it's not a Christmas song. It's about 2 lost lovers that find themselves in a liquor store on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Or on Christmas Eve. And they go out for New Year's Eve. It's not a Christmas song. It has nothing to do with the birth of Christ. It has nothing to do with Santa Claus. It has nothing to do with trees. Nothing to do with any of that. But it's a well-recorded song. That's why it's a bonus. It's not really in the top 5. It's just kind of a bonus, all right? So, but getting into the top 5, here we go. Number 5. Again, another well-done song, but it is not what you want to hear at Christmas. Christmas Shoes by Bob Carlisle.
Oh,
It's okay. It's a decent little story. I love storyteller type music. Billy Joel and John James Taylor. Those are some of my favorites. I love the storyteller. This, man, if you don't know, it's a song about the little boy who is buying shoes from his mom, who's on her deathbed, and the man behind him is singing the song. He's the one that pays for them. Yeah. Very sad song. Again, I can't see myself decorating the tree to that. What am I going to start just crying, looking for tissues? Come on, man. All right, that's number 5. Number 4, Paul McCartney and his one-legged wife and Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. Absolutely awful recording. The chortling, the off-key keyboard that's playing Bing Bong Bing Bong while he's singing Ding Dong Ding Dong. It's just ridiculous. Nobody's having a good Christmas time hearing that. Wonderful Christmas time. I reach for the dial every single time. Skip, next, thumbs down, whatever app you're using. It's not even in any of my playlist. So forget that. It's gone. What do you got? Any comments so far?
No, go ahead, man. Now, when you talked about his one, that got me right there, man. That was
all right. Along the same lines, again, going back to Europe here for this one. Do They Even Know It's Christmas Time by Band Aid? Okay, this was a band very similar to Farm Aid, where they in Live Aid, where there was this huge trend in the mid '80s of getting these super groups together to record one song for the benefit of something or another. This one, I think, went to the African charities trying to help feed some of the African folks. But the song, Do They Know It's Christmas Time at All? Just, it's a terrible recording. It's one of those songs where everybody's got to get their 5 minutes of fame. They want to all get their lyrics in, and it just doesn't work. Not to mention, I mean, really, we're going back to the sad thing. We got these sad people who don't have food to eat, water to drink, and we're going to sing songs about them. That's not Christmas. Come on, man.
So brutal.
Number 2, we're getting into the good stuff here. The Eurythmics, Annie Lennox, and Winter Wonderland. From the first note, the turn off, nope, next, I'm going to crash my truck into a bridge. Awful. She's a terrible singer. It is a terrible recording. You can't do better than a classic Frank Sinatra or Bing Crosby or even Tony Bennett singing Winter Wonderland. Just keep it classic. That's what people want. They don't want you to dress it up anymore.
I heard a new rendering or a new what do you want to call it? Composition recording of Go Tell It on the Mountain yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Didn't like it, man. I said, come on, man. Let's keep it. We only hear these songs for a few weeks a year. Let's keep them classy. They bring the memories back. When you hear them,
yes.
I don't need to hear somebody, trying to rework something that's already nostalgic and really cool to hear.
And I'm okay if you want to make a new song. or even recording. I like Michael Bublé and what he's done with the recordings. Mariah Carey, she's written original Christmas music. There's nothing wrong with that. I like the new stuff. It's not that I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I can't stand new stuff, but it's this terrible. It's when people don't recognize a terrible recording and they still play it like the radio station. It drives me nuts. And speaking of terrible recordings, number one, numero uno, the Chief Grinch, the number one fruit cake pie or whatever that fruit cake. Bruce Springsteen and Santa Claus is coming to town. Oh, this guy, first of all, he's never been able to sing. Then you put him live on a stage and he can't finish a sentence. He sounds like Mike Ditka. Santa Claus, what are you doing? I'll tell you whatever. Well, Santa, he's coming over. Clarence over here. Rudolph. He's laughing. What is this monstrosity?
I kind of like it because it makes me. I picture like a dad, out with his kids, telling them Santa Claus is coming to town. I kind of like it, It feels like
hoing.
Yeah, well, I get the dad vibe out of it, and it was, when my kids were small. It was kind of cool. I don't know, man. I'm disagreeing with you on that one. I like the boss on this one.
No, there is nothing he's ever done except maybe for Born in the USA.
Born in the USA.
That was really good. Everything else, crap. All right. The guy is, I don't get it. Okay. And for all you keyboard warriors out there telling me, well, you don't get it because you don't get it. Okay. You're right. I don't get it. Whatever it is you need to get the boss, the Bruce Springsteen, I don't have it. I never will because the guy's terrible. I don't understand it. But he didn't even go back and record that in a studio. So if you like the song so much and you're really good at performing it, why not go back to the studio and give us a studio version? Why do we have to suffer through your live version? Oh, my gosh.
I liked it, man. I like it. I like it. I got it.
Brutal.
How about you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite song? Do you have a favorite Christmas song?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolute favorite Christmas. My favorite Christmas song of all time is The Little Drummer Boy. Now, how it's done is my favorite is by Whiteheart. Is that your number one? Nice.
Drummer Boy right there, man. Already written down.
That's my number one. My number one recording of that song is by Whiteheart. Number two is probably King and Country. They do a really good rendition of that. But pretty much anything with like a drum line, like a high school drum line or college drum line. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. That's probably my favorite Christmas song.
Yes. Yeah. That song when done right.
Yes.
Heavy on the drums.
Right.
It's fantastic, man. It's a great
song.
And
again, going back to the storytelling lover in me, where you've got this small shepherd boy or drummer boy, whatever he is, who has nothing else to bring to the newborn king except his talent. And he's going to take the time to share his talent, which is playing the drum. I don't know if he was any good on the drum. I don't even know if he existed, right? Whatever. The fact is that he took the time to go and offer up the one thing he had to give, his talent. And his
I heard a little different perspective on that earlier this week. And it went something like, Mary after, on a long journey on a donkey, not being able to find a room and giving birth in a stable, and this little kid shows up and he's like, I've got just what she needs, a drum.
Totally understand that. I get it, but he probably wasn't there on the birth night.
He probably wasn't there.
Like a lot of the people that came, the wise men, all that, didn't show up for later. Hey, how many wise men are there? Or were there?
Well, I don't know. There were 3 presidents. We know that.
There you go. Well, there was 3 presidents mentioned. The Bible says
yes.
The Bible says they brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Right. So that means a gift of gold means it could have been a statue, it could have been a necklace, it could have been a crown. And they could have been hundreds of these guys that brought hundreds of gifts. We don't know. Yeah. But I love the people that say, there's only 3 wise men. Oh, really? Yeah. Where do you find that? Nowhere. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So that's you. We both favorites on Little Drummer Boy.
Yeah, Little Drummer Boy.
Any other Christmas song discussion?
I don't think, I'm more of the tradition. I like the old songs. I like the carols, like the Hark the Herald and the Glow, whatever that one is. I think Handel maybe wrote that one.
Yep.
So yeah, that one's really good. So anyway, that's when I hear so when I get to one of those stations that's going to do it all day long, I got to turn it off. Can't do it because I guarantee you, Feliz Navidad's coming on, which I can't stand. And then, it's okay to hear Santa Claus is coming to town. It's okay to hear that.
Not that Bruce
like,
Springsteen.
No, but I don't want to hear it like all the time, though.
Right.
I don't want to hear it.
Mix it up. There are enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you said there's a limited
or
number.
Rudolph. By the way, 12 Days of Christmas, my worst song. That's my number one song.
Okay,
it
so
just
now
goes on and on.
The Straight No Chaser version. Have you heard that? Where they actually end up singing "Toto of Africa" or "Toto" or "Africa" by Toto.
No, but I'm going to see Toto in April or something like that. So maybe I should
brush up. I will share with you the Straight No Chaser version of that. You're going to appreciate that.
So in fairness, I'm not really going to see Toto. I'm going to see Journey.
Correct.
And they're just opening for
Toto's opening. I love Toto. Toto's fantastic.
I only know one song they do. It Rains in Africa. It's the only one I know.
Oh, it's not It Rains. It's just Africa.
It's what?
It's just called Africa.
It's just called Africa. But
it's just called Africa.
There you go. Yeah, but it rains. It only rains in Africa. It's always. There you go, man. That's my Toto knowledge right there. Complete.
Oh man, terrible. All right, Rosanna. No. Rosanna.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. What else? What are our plans for Christmas? We've got about 10 minutes left here. Let's finish this off right. We're in a Christmas mood. What are your plans for the rest of the Christmas season?
Oh man, playing a little Wham right here. I don't know if you can hear it.
That's a strong number 8 or 6 or 7 rather.
I knew you wouldn't like it.
I don't like Wham.
I knew you wouldn't like it.
Oh gosh. But I allow it because it is a good recording. Like it is total late 80s pop vibe. That's why I allow it. I allow it to stay.
George Michael still got a ton of hair in this one, in the video there. So, my Christmas, I have to work, man. I can't turn it on.
Are you working Christmas Day?
I don't work. I'm supposed to work Christmas Eve. First time in my entire career I got annual leave for it. It's only taken me 27 years to gain enough seniority to get that day off. But anyway, yeah. So finally get a break on that. So we'll be in town for it. We just do. That is the one holiday that is absolutely set in stone for us. We rotate. My wife's family's in town. My family's in town. We do morning at one house and then dinner at the other house, and we flip it every year. And a long day, but it's a good day. It's a cool day for it. But that is very traditional Christmas for us. Other than that, not much else. My daughter's coming up from college maybe tomorrow.
But she needs to borrow your truck right away.
She does need to borrow the truck tomorrow.
Daddy, I'm coming home, but I need something.
Yeah, it's all right. I get to drive the Jeep. So, but you're going to Tennessee, is that right?
Yeah, after Christmas, we'll probably go day after, drive up, spend some time with my in-laws. They live in the Knoxville area, so we like going up there every year. I need a break from work in the worst way, for sure. So does Chrissy, but nothing else going on here. I don't have any parties lined up. We had normally do a family party Saturday before Christmas, but still got some family that don't want to get together due to COVID, and there's some traveling going on with some of the other crew, so that's not going to happen. But we'll do some Christmas Eve stuff with my immediate family. We tried to go look at the drive-through lights over here by my house at the fairgrounds.
Oh yeah,
Saturday night, but just a line out the wazoo. I mean, there was a line from Dover to Plant City to get in, and then going the other way from Dover or from Sydney Washer to Dover. I'm like that because it was Saturday night, so I get it. But we're gonna try to go later this week on a weeknight, see if we'll sneak in there.
Hey, funny story about Saturday. B-Love and I did that Tough Mudder Saturday morning. So at the end of the Tough Mudder, they have got these hanging electrical wires,
right?
And they don't hang all the way to the bottom. And if you're super careful and there's some hay bales that you kind of have to crawl over, you can probably get through there without getting electrocuted. I said, dude, I'm here for the experience. I'm going to do it. And tons of people are crawling. I said, here we go. So I just kind of cover up my head, and I didn't want to get shocked in the eyeball. That one didn't sound cool. but I figured how bad can it be? So I'm like running through and I'm zigging and zagging a little bit, and pow, I get hit in the chest, and I got another one hit in the gut, but I make it on my feet, by the way. Those are real shocks. Meanwhile, B-Love, who started before me, is still crawling over the hay bales. He's like, I don't want to get shocked. He's going so slow that a live one lands on him, and it's just like one of those flies that, like the big fly, you get the bug zapper. So, you got the little ones just get zapped and they fall. And then you get that, like the grasshopper lands on it and it just sits there.
Oh my goodness.
It's just you're getting fried. I was like, you should have just run, man. Should have just run.
And you guys pay money for this torture.
I will say this. Okay. So we were initially going to do the Spartan, and we decided to do the Tough Mudder instead. I've never done a Tough Mudder. We have done a couple Spartans. Tough Mudder, way more fun than a Spartan.
Yeah.
Spartan's it's just misery. It's like they just want to see how much misery you can handle. And that's just not, that's not fun. As a matter of fact, the guys that did it, there was like a 2-mile forging through a swamp and chest deep or at least waist deep water. And I was like, no. I know what's in swamps. I'm not getting inside a swamp, for free. That's for sure. Not paying for it either. So, but the Tough Mudder, the obstacles were fun. They were adventurous. They were challenging, but they were doable. Like there was a hay bale. They had made a hay bale pyramid that had to be good night. I bet you this thing was 60 feet tall. And
Whoa.
So you had to climb over that. They had a big A-frame with a cargo net, and the Spartan A-frame is tall. It's probably, 30, 40 feet. This thing, I bet you was 80 feet. It was up in the air, man. And to the point to where they have like safety nets encapsulating you in case you fall.
Oh.
So that, so if you were to fall, you would hit the safety net, which would bounce you into the regular net, and eventually you would just tumble to the ground. Anyway, we had a good time with the Tough Mudder. That was a fun race. I would do another Tough Mudder. I may retire my Spartan gear after that.
Yeah, and just stick with those.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was doable. Like the Spartan. Again, it's just how much suck can you endure? And never. I've always finished them, but that didn't mean I wanted to.
Right.
So anyway, that's my story from Saturday. B-Love just getting fried like a grasshopper. So.
By the jellyfish tentacles. Would have been fun to see. Maybe we'll vlog one of those.
We should, man.
Someday.
They had a spectator route. So people could go by, and there were people filming them. They were wearing GoPros. I didn't want to wear a GoPro and watch B-Love get fried.
Sounds like it might have been worth it though.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, well, that's all we've got for tonight. It's the wonderful Pooh and the Chief show. That's it, man. Just the two men holding it down. Other slackers out there doing whatever slackers do. We don't know. But thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share with a friend. You never know. They might just get a kick out of the top 5 worst Christmas songs ever. And the rest of the nonsense we talked about. We'll be back on Monday night next week. The Buccaneers have an 8:20 Sunday night game. So we'll be back on Monday night breaking down that game against the New Orleans Saints. Chief's wife's team. Mrs. the Chief is going to be rooting against us. Man, I have to find some place for her to go. Kick her out.
I'm not going to win next week. I'm going to lose situation. If the Bucs win, I lose. If the Saints win, I lose. So it's a rough week for me.
Well, we'll just go with the Bucs then. That way, only lose on one end.
There you go.
We'll try to recruit B-Love and TSG back for next week. See if we can get into some more shenanigans. Until then, have a great week. We'll see you next Monday night. Say good night, Chief.
Good night.